I think next up is Rachel Boyack, or Rachel
This is my first call on this bill.
Two.
And I do want to just reiterate what my colleague Benjamin Doyle from the Green Party has said, which is that we don't have a select committee process, and there is a lot of detail in here, which is why we are getting into detailed scrutiny of the bill, because it's important for the Hansard as well. For example, if there are challenges through benefit reviews, those types of things, it's important actually that the Hansard captures the intent of the government, because it's the kind of thing that you would rely on in that type of situation. So this is one of the reasons why we are digging in terms of the questions. And so I want to come also to clause 4. I have some further questions related to this on clause 5, but I'll wait until we get to clause 5 to ask specific questions around the automated process. And I want to come back to some of the questions colleagues have asked about the disability community, but extend that out further, because there's a specific piece in the regulatory impact statement, and I'll try to keep my contribution short because this is a question I just want to get to the heart of. If you look at page 7 of the regulatory impact statement, bullet point 23 under the heading disabled people, it says here in the regulatory impact statement, we note that some disabled people, as well as people from other client cohorts, may find it hard to engage with MSD within the required review time frames. To mitigate this, we are proposing the ability for MSD to allow appropriate exceptions, extensions and exemptions to clients who are not able to respond to these mandatory reviews due to their circumstances. This ability will ensure that clients are not negatively impacted due to no fault of their own. So I note in the regulatory impact statement crafted for the government that it actually makes that point quite specifically about the extra challenges placed on disabled people. The Minister has responded by saying she's consulted with herself, the Minister, but actually that doesn't get to the heart of what this item, bullet point number 23 says. And if I note, looking at clause 4, there are, so looking at clause 4, 310C6, the benefits referred to in subsection 4B, which are the ones that have an exemption, is my reading of the bill. So again, we don't have the time in select committee to dig in with advisors, so I'd like some clarification if I've got this wrong. But it lists out the kinds of benefits that are referred to in subsection 4B, which is where there would be an exemption, is my reading of the bill, and correct me if I'm wrong. And it lists some benefits there, but what it doesn't list is probably the one we're most concerned around, which is the supported living payment. And so it appears that the regulatory impact statement has specifically noted the needs of the disabled community, that there do need to be appropriate exceptions, extensions and exemptions, but then the bill itself doesn't actually reflect what is in the RIS. And so my question to the Minister, it's a specific question, is if it's not in the bill, will she consider amendments to include it in the bill? And if not, what other operational mechanisms will she consider and include on the Hansard today, so that if people are taking benefit reviews through the benefit review process, they have some clarification as to the government's intent, because it's unclear when you have a RIS and a bill that are not acting in accordance with each other. What other mechanisms will there be for exemptions for this particular community who are most likely to have challenges engaging with MSD? So again, we've only just got this bill this week. It's one of the reasons why we have select committees, so we can ask detailed questions. And so if we've got some of how the clauses relate with each other wrong, that's the type of clarification we need from the Minister. So thank you, and I appreciate a response from the Minister.
Honourable Louise Upston.
I'm not going to traverse ground that I have covered before around disabled people and exemptions, other than to say that actually one of the Labor members who spoke in one of the earlier readings was quite clear about the supported living payment and the fact that it doesn't include the medical reviews, which is an issue that comes up from disabled people on a regular basis. In terms of the questions around automated decision making, which I have already answered some, it is publicly available. The standard was actually introduced by the previous government in 2023, so I suggest if you've got any problems with it, you should take it up with them.
Kahirani Kata.
Yeah, that's what I had to sit through. Okay, yeah, guess what? She said no to that amendment. She said no to everything. Yeah, and Rachel Boyack is absolutely correct. The regulatory impact statement I have access to reflects what she just said. They even have a section under that one that I posted talking about disabled people having fewer work obligations than the rest of the benefit population when their disability is severe enough to limit their capacity to work, which may include the client being on supported living or job seeker support. So, yeah, the regulatory impact statement also includes people who have disabilities on job seeker support, right? As a result, the changes outlined in the accompanying cabinet papers may have less of an impact on disabled people in comparison to people with greater work obligations. Those with obligations may face additional barriers to meeting these when compared to other people with equivalent obligations. Care will also be taken during implementation to ensure that the traffic light system is designed in an accessible manner, such as the inclusion of colorblind and low vision appropriate. Approximately 42% of clients on job seeker support due to a health condition. So that's a huge amount, right? 42% of clients on job seeker support due to a health condition, injury, disability are limited in their capacity to undertake full-time employment. Requiring an additional reapplication will see clients engaging more often so that they are well prepared to return to work when they transfer to job seeker support. So, yeah, so it's in there, right? But it's not acknowledging the problems where there are gaps in communication or delays, like getting a letter. It's like, oh shit, you know, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do. You know, it's not looking at that shit, because again, it's like that's the same regulatory impact statement said. We look forward to, you know, select committee process, and that we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Yeah.